Welcome to Talk Around Riyadh, the Wheel of Time showcast. I am your host, Joe Perry, here with my co-hosts, Jen Isgro and Tom Kokoza. How you doing today, Jen?
I am doing good. It's a hot night in the city tonight, and just wanted to see if Tom could spit out his drink, and it almost worked. We're going to talk about something new that's affiliated with Wheel of Time, but we never spoke about this before, and I'm excited about it.
That we are, Jen. We're all excited about it, right, Tom?
We are. I attempted to speak about it many times and have been consistently shot down because I'm the only person who knew about them, apparently. So,
blame Amazon Prime.
Or Roku, one or the other.
Well, whichever.
Right. But yeah, it's gonna be a good show tonight, I think. As opposed to the normal shows we have, not that good. This one's gonna be a good one.
I know for a certain it's going to be a good one because we've got some interesting things to talk about, as Tom said. Things we had kind of brushed past because of frustration. Amazon and their user interface and being able to access them. So, but before we get into that, we're going to be talking about the Wheel of Time origins, the animated shorts that accompany the TV show. But before we get into that, Jen, what's happening?
Welcome to this week's What's Happening, Henny edition. Our first post comes from the Twitter of none other than the best goddamn parents in the world, much better than the three of us, Phil and Chris Henny. They write, "Happy 46th anniversary to us. I do know one thing, we're not starting over. 46 years is enough to stay together. But at this point, I would marry the same guy, and I know Phil would marry the same gal. We'd have the same Levi/Wranglers jeans. Our jeans, parentheses, Gene, created a great guy." So the Hennies have posted a few couple pics in a garden, one which includes their dog, Stella May. They couldn't even get through their own anniversary post without complimenting their son. Keep trying, everyone else, but you just can't unseat them as greatest parents of all time. Happy anniversary, Hennies, and here's to many, many more.
They're just like, it's like television, these people.
Yeah.
Gotta love
They're like the Seavers. It's just ridiculous.
That's your pinnacle of television parents, the Seavers.
I think that the Seavers are a good, they're a good television ideal parent, right? There's a lot of love. There's a lot of, but I think there's a kernel of realism, and they have to deal with like three annoying kids. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to say it is.
Okay, I'll allow it. I was trying to think of somebody else, but I think that's a pretty good one.
All right.
Okay. So speaking of their son, Daniel Henny has not been relaxing too much in between shooting Wheel of Time. His new film, Confidential Assignment 2, International, is coming in September, and Daniel posted the trailer on Instagram. Daniel plays Jack, thank God, so I didn't have to pronounce any of the Korean names, an FBI agent. I couldn't tell too much of the story from the trailer since it's mostly in Korean, except for Daniel's 2 lines, one of them being, "Now get the fuck out." But it looks like a crazy, typical action film, and it does have the establishing shot of the Statue of Liberty, so you know at least some of this may have been filmed in New York. Daniel, why didn't you call us? Anyway, I'm not sure when it will be released in other countries, but look for it in South Korea sometime next month. Okay, nothing.
Is it all all in Korean, huh? We can.
It's
No,
in Korean
it's
except
not.
for Daniel Henny's parts.
Yeah, it looks like he is an American FBI agent who gets called back. This is a sequel, right? So it looks like he gets called back to South Korea to help, like, I don't know, his old partner.
I don't think he's in the first one, though, is he?
It looks like it is. It looks like he's like back in the game. It reminded me a little bit of a cross between, and I don't know because obviously most of the trailers in Korean, but watching it reminded me of a cross between like Rush Hour 2 and Lethal Weapon 2, because there's a South Korean cop that looks competent, And there's another guy who looks like he's comic relief, and he reminded me like a little bit of what like Joe Pesci's part in Lethal Weapon movies would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like they have to get the Fed back over in South Korea to kind of work on some kind of thing. But it's like they walk in front of explosions. It looks pretty cool.
It does look actually pretty good. He must speak Korean at some point in the movie because he's got to communicate with them. So I'm assuming that he does.
I mean, he speaks Korean in real life, and they're speaking Korean, I assume. Like, so there has to be some sort of communication.
I don't know, but I watched the whole thing to see if he was speaking Korean in the trailer, and he isn't. He just has 2 English lines.
Yeah, I mean, he plays an American, or at least someone who lives in America, and like most of his I don't know if that's true. One of his lines, at least, is with other Americans at the FBI, right? So there's no reason for him to speak in Korean then. And then I don't know how much of it is going to be if he speaks American when he's by himself in Korea or whatever. But if we watch the movie, and what's the movie's name again, Jen?
It is called Confidential Assignment 2 International.
Look, that's an awesome title. We'll find out next month when we.
Well, I don't know if we can watch it next month because it's coming out in South Korea next month. But maybe Lesbian Nerdy can watch it and she can let us know.
Yeah, that's true.
We had it in there.
Bring her on for a review.
Maybe she can go to the movie theater and film it, like bootleg it while she's in the theater for us.
No, we don't want to endorse any criminal activities. But yeah, maybe we can.
Like a big video camera like this.
Jenny, if you're listening, go see that in the theaters and then let us know how it is.
Yeah, don't film it. We're not condoning that you film it and then send it to this Google link I'm gonna give you. It's got guys in suits with sunglasses, so it's got to be good, right?
Yeah, it looks like any other action movie. It looks good. Yeah,
awesome.
Okay, did I say Henny Edition? I meant Henny Edition. That's right. It's time for hashtag Hen News. Juliet Howland writes, though only 10 and 7 months have passed since leaving the egg farm, Pollyanna and Maple certainly knew comfort when they saw it. 2 very content little hens. Pollyanna, though still a skinhead, feathers slowly growing, can look rather elegant at times, and Minnie Maple is so sweet and affectionate. They love human contact, though Pollyanna nearly went too far.
Yeah,
so
I'm looking at that picture.
She posted some pictures of the hens in the garden, and some adorable ones of, I think, Maple cuddling up to Juliet's neck, and then a very risque shot of Pollyanna poking Andy in a private area. But this is a family podcast, so let's leave it at that.
Let's just say she was poking him in his cock.
Let's just say I'd like to fuck her on a tennis court if you catch my meaning.
I was using a double entendre. Chicken, cock, penis, cock.
We got it.
Yeah. We put it together.
Okay.
We cracked the code.
Pollyanna, I like the look without all the feathers because she looks like, I don't know. It's kind of like like that style where people like shave like the sides of their head, but
it's like coming up out of the back of her head.
Looks pretty cool. I would leave it that way if I were her.
What is she gonna shave her head?
Yeah, she'll pluck those feathers when they grow in just to keep that cool.
No. I don't think it's gonna happen.
No.
So now I'm looking at the difference between Maple and Pollyanna. I didn't realize like how really it is a lot different. But it looks like they're like spiked up a little bit.
I bet you all chickens look alike to you, Jen.
Her whole head is supposed to have feathers.
Yeah.
Guys, look at these pictures. This is very interesting. Her whole face. I didn't realize her whole face should kind of be covered in feathers.
Take your face off.
Yeah.
She's really bald. That's okay. We love her.
I like the way it looks. I think it should stay that way. I hope it stays that way.
Well, just shave your chickens' heads. Joe likes it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm done for now. Back to you, Joe.
All right. There's not really any big news this week, but there was a post by a Mr. Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern. You may
Happy birthday, bud.
Awesome videos. That's right. He shares. You learned that you share a birthday with him, Tom?
No, I don't share a birthday. His birthday is the 3rd of August, while mine was the 1st.
Oh, okay. He's the 3rd of August. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, he posted a tweet on Twitter. Looks like we got an official license, the Wheel of Time Heron Mark sword. Did anybody else know about this? So there's also a link to the website of Jalek Blades. So this is the company, I guess, that's making the swords. And there's a nice little Heron Mark sword that you can buy now. I guess this is the official licensed sword. I'll give you a quick description here. Carried by Tam Althor when he fought in the Idle War, this sword was kept hidden in the cottage he shared with the son Rand until one fateful night when Trollocs sent by the Dark One attacked. It bears the Heron mark, indicating its wielder is a blade master, a title which Tam earned and Rand hopes to live up to as he now carries this sword on his mission with Moraine Sedai to stop the Dark One.
Wow.
Crafted from high-quality material, meticulously designed based off the actual prop, this adult collectible prop replica is officially licensed. This product is not a toy. Keep out of reach of children. This replica is intended solely for display purposes as a collector's item. So, the both of you have seen this sword. What do you think?
It's a sword.
Yeah. If anybody
Sure
needs any,
It sure is a sword.
it was
That's-
cool.
It's cool that they're like starting to release licensed weapons from the show. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
It's pretty nice. It comes with the scabbard, and it also comes with a mount to mount it on your walls for the modest price of $360.
Well, how much does a sword go for these days?
I don't know. I haven't been to my local smithy in a while.
Like how much you I think, bro, you probably have a sword from like Lord of the Rings, right?
I have some swords.
So how much did they cost?
I have a sword, or
None of them cost $360.
No.
And I have a couple that are battle ready, and they didn't cost meaning they have like sharpened edges that you can use to,
Okay, but are they the sort of an official blade master?
Well, they're not, because this isn't an official sort of a blade master because it's not battle ready. So a blade master wouldn't use this sword.
What does that have to be? Like sharp? Is that what you mean by battle ready?
Yes.
Why do they have to be sharp? They're replicas.
It doesn't have to be, but I'm saying I would prefer it.
You would prefer an actual sword.
Don't you know my dream is that a burglar or some psycho breaks into my home one night and I pull out the Heron Mark sword and strike him down with Heron waiting in the rushes.
If you pull out
a
Heron Mark sword, he's probably just gonna run away.
Well,
if I were breaking into someone's house and someone pulled a sword on me, I'd probably just leave. It's not worth it.
Or shoot them. One or the other.
Well, if they don't have a gun.
Right.
I think I have a sword near the side of my bed as well. So I think that might be everyone's dream, except not the Heron, specifically the Heron Mark blade. Like, what's Aragorn's sword's name?
Narsil?
Yeah.
Oh, was it Narsil, like the shards of Narsil? Isn't it like the shards of Narsil?
Narsil,
reforged into something else.
Is it Elendil?
I don't know.
We knew this. We knew this 20 years
sword.
ago, guys.
I think it is Elendil. Anyway,
yeah, and Anduril.
Anduril. Okay, Anduril.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's not pronounced properly. It's like Anduril. But
I feel like we have a good Florida man headline for this, right? Florida man dispatches home invader
with Heron Mark blade.
With Heron Mark blade.
So, I will say this: if anyone's looking for any, belated birthday presents for me, I wouldn't say no. That's all. It's pretty cool.
It is really nice looking, though. I have to say, it's pretty awesome.
So, I'm just hoping this means we're getting more like other licensed things like soon. I know maybe not from this company, but maybe like rings.
Well, Baldelli, I think, didn't they get permission again to start remaking the rings and the pins?
The official ring, though?
Yeah, that's
The show ring, not the snake ring.
Yeah. No, I think the old rings, maybe. Now I have to look. I have to look it up now.
I saw a posting of somebody posted that ring, but I haven't.
I can't remember. Is it Baldelli? I can't remember the name.
Badali. I don't know how you pronounce that. Badali. Probably Badali.
This is exciting, people.
Is the ring on the show? Does it have a snake in it?
Yeah. Over that's the arch over it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw somebody had posted something. Sorry. Somebody had posted something that they started selling the rings again, like they got permission or something.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I'll look into that though and see if I can find it for people. Sorry, I don't have it on hand, but Heron Mark blades for sale. I'll put the link in the show notes. If anyone buys one, please send us pictures of you dispatching something.
Would Joe really wants to? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It doesn't have to be a person or an animal. Like a watermelon or a piece of.
We're back to Gallagher again.
A piece of furniture, maybe.
Watermelon.
A stuffed animal, whatever, to make a difference.
Yeah, stuffed animal. There you go.
You pretend it's Norg. What was I going to say? I think Joe wants to know is, sure, it's a replica sword. Sure, it's not battle ready, but can it be sharpened? Is it made of steel, or is it like if I tried to sharpen it, it would break?
Well, it's stainless steel, so it's not even really. I don't even know if you can really how well you can sharpen stainless steel, but you can. I know that. So it's made of stainless steel. The handle is genuine leather wrapped, antique brass handle parts, and then, like I said, it includes the wall display plaque and a certificate of authenticity.
Oh, we need that.
Well, that's the whole ball game right there.
Now, if you really want to score extra points, there might be some merchandise in it for you. If when you buy the blade, you heat up the heron and then brand your palm with it, and then show us
touching the blade itself and holding it like this with the hilt down here. Yeah.
Just scabbard. Maybe you grab the scabbard. Has a heron on it.
It does.
That's what he's gonna do.
I think that's leather, so I don't think you want to heat that up.
Maybe it's just not going to be branded with herons. Is that going to be the worst thing?
I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen on the show.
Because it's it doesn't matter, and it's just more work for them.
He could just go to grab the sword by that part, and that's what happens.
But then they have to do the herons on his hand every time he's on the screen. It's just annoying. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
I hate people throwing things at me, but
they're going to do the dragons, though, right?
They probably would do dragons. But to put something here that you won't see all the time, but it has to be there just in case. That's annoying. The dragons they'll definitely do the wound.
You think they'll give him henna tattoos or something that lasts a few months, so that way they don't have to keep doing makeup on him?
I hope not.
Like those gloves.
Yeah,
you could wear like a sleeve.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it's going to be. To be an applique.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What?
To do gloves or something like that.
But something else happened.
Right. We didn't think that was that interesting.
No. I was just thinking. I was trying to find out how long henna tattoos last.
Not very long.
Only a couple of weeks. That's still better than having to do his makeup every time. Put them on every time.
Yeah, but it's cool that it's they're scales. They're metal. I think it's cooler than I don't know, just a regular tattoo. I don't know.
Well, they were kind of metallic looking. They do have metallic tattooing. So if he really wants to go hardcore into this Yosha, just get the tattoos.
Yeah, but then I think as Erin Marie in chat is saying, then he can't go out on the town. People will take pictures of his arms and post it on social media.
Well, they have to wear long sleeves and gloves.
Wear long sleeves forever.
And gloves.
Okay.
Great.
He's like the Invisible Man or something.
Just a big black trench coat and sunglasses.
Anyway.
Oh man.
So that's our news for today. So like I said before, we're going to be talking about.
I'm sorry. So the Invisible Man is our news for today. All right.
Let's get into
All
real-time origins. We skipped over this, right? We were too involved with the TV show. Brendan was just also didn't like the idea of these origins because he didn't like the idea of having to watch other ancillary or material to understand what was going on in the episodes, which I 100%.
You didn't have to, though.
You're right. You didn't have to watch them.
I understand that if he wasn't the person saying it, like he loves that in every other media format.
I think he writes a book so that he can write ancillary material.
Yes. His whole series of books is just about the ancillary stuff. The book is like an excuse to get to the other shit.
I'm going to defend Brendan
really
since he's
cool.
not here. None of that ancillary material, though. You don't need to read that to understand what's going on in the story, though.
No, you don't. But like literally, I feel like the story is just the excuse for him to get the other things out there. Right?
He made this elaborate narrative story just so he could put in the comic book listings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's definitely the favorite part of doing it.
Yes, it's 100%.
It's like a page in between chapters with like books listed that have never been
Tell
written.
Brendan that I don't really read the comic book listings.
Oh.
I read the letters. I read the letters. You know, there's like letters to the editor and stuff. Those I read, but the actual listings of the comic books, I don't really read them.
I read the list because I want to see. I was going to see if there's one that's written about the characters we're based on us.
You just want to see if your name pops up.
Yes, it's there.
Vanity.
My whole drives everything I do.
Let's just keep ripping Brendan this whole episode. Now, so we watched the origins, and we wanted to talk a little bit about them, also in part because at the San Diego Comic-Con panel, they revealed that they're going to be releasing the final 2 episodes of Origins. If you remember, they only released 6 episodes of the Origins. They didn't release the last 2. So this month in August, I don't think we got a date yet, but they're going to be releasing the last 2 episodes. And we do know that one of those episodes has to do with Lan and the Fall of Manetheren, because I believe they showed it at the Comic-Con. And it sounded really cool from what we heard about it. Didn't actually get to see it though yet. And I don't know, did we hear what the final one or the 8th one is going to be?
No.
I thought this was an entire new season of Origins that was coming out. I didn't realize it's only 2 episodes. Why didn't they release the whole thing?
I guess I don't know if they just didn't finish them or did they?
Maybe.
I don't know.
So maybe it has to do with things that were changed. Like maybe there was going to be more about Lan and Malkier. Well, there is actually. That would go with episode 7, I guess, right? Lan with Malkier. Because that's when he has. So it has to be something to do with episode 8. I was going to say maybe it was something that they took out of episode 8, so they didn't want to air it alongside episode 8. But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, it could have something to do with the Shamael, maybe, or back to more Age of Legends. Because I mean, they do the intro as the Age of the Age of Legends intro, right? So maybe it's some Lews Therin or Age of Legends, the Boar possibly, or I don't know. But I'm interested to find out what they are. I don't know when they're being released, but he did say August, so that only leaves 26 days left for them to release it. So looking forward to that. But let's get into what they actually did release and what we saw in the episodes. Unfortunately, you may remember that Jen and I had a lot of difficulty finding the Origins, and that's why we really didn't get to watch them, because they weren't even available on the Roku Amazon app. And I know a lot of people were having issues with them, but finally got to watch them. I'm pretty sure I did not watch them in the correct order because they weren't listed in the correct order. So I'm going to go to Tom here to tell us which one was the first Origins episode.
The Breaking of the World.
Oh, okay. That was the third one that I watched. All right, so let's get into it. So these were like 3-4 minute episodes, animated. I believe Rami Park was the one who directed most of them. I think her and somebody else. I can't remember the name of the guy. Hold on, I have it. Oh, Dan DeFelice. Directed these. Just like before we actually get into what each one was about, just like thoughts on the idea of these, doing these short little vignettes to complement the episodes. What do you think about that? Did you think that was a good idea? Or do you think it was dumb?
I liked it. Some of them I thought, not particularly this one, but there was at least one I could think of or maybe two that I didn't think was like worth doing. I think they probably could have thought of something else better. But the Breaking of the World one was good. I feel like I still had to explain to Dan, like, after we watched all of them, I still had to explain to him like how the Breaking of the World happened, and like I don't know if he was just not paying attention or he didn't get it. He was like, "Oh, so Luz Theron tainted?" And I was like, "No." And then I went through the whole thing and like explained it. So I don't know. I feel like it could have been a little more clear, but they couldn't really be any longer because people probably wouldn't care to watch them then.
They're really short though.
I mean,
they could have been like, I mean, they were what, like really it was like 3 minutes of actual, like maybe 3.5 minutes, and then another 45 seconds of credits. Literally like almost a quarter of the episode is credits.
Takes a lot to make that.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is like they could add a minute or two, or maybe Amazon was sticklers about that. Who knows? But just like the idea, Tom, of like creating these ancillary shorts to accompany the episodes, not something that I've really seen with other TV shows. You know, usually I've seen like the behind the scenes after the fact. They'll talk about like, you know, what happened in the episode. You'll get like writers or directors or actors talk about the episode and stuff and how they made it. But this is like totally different. So I want to get your thoughts on the whole idea of it.
I really was excited when they announced they were going to do it, and I liked the way that they did it. What it reminded me kind of was like the Animatrix. I don't know if you remember that, but they released like I think they were like 8. They were longer than this, but there were 8 animated shorts, like in the world of the Matrix, in between the first and the second Matrix movie. This kind of reminded me of that, like just giving you more of this world that is not necessary to understand what's happening on the main show, but does fill out the world, does flesh the world out, and does. I really think, you know, it's a shame that you guys didn't watch them like when they were released, because they do reflect on the episodes that they're kind of attached to. So like it does give more context to what you're watching and what's happening in that particular episode.
Yeah, I did see a couple of them while we watched it. I just hadn't watched all of them. So
yeah, I also just it's an interesting animation style. I am not an animation expert by any stretch of the imagination, so I don't know what you would call it. But I liked it. I thought it reminded me of like if the artwork of the time of that world was to be animated. Like that's what it would look like to me.
Yeah, I really like the animation style, very much so, and I like the tone of it. Right, it was very like dark and kind of ominous. All of them, the way they shot them, but the artwork and animation was amazing. I couldn't help but think a few times watching these that I kind of wished that the actual show was like this. Sometimes I was like, maybe they would have just been better off just doing an animated show. It might have been better, especially with the quality of the origins.
Yeah, but you can make it that like that when you're doing them and they're 3 minutes long.
I guess that's a point. So the first one, as you said, Tom, is the Breaking of the World. We get a nice quote from the Fourth Age right from the book, which I thought was a really good way to start it. And it made me wonder, do they mention in the show what age it is? I don't remember. Is it part of Moraine's intro?
No, I don't think so.
So I feel like that's almost like a miss there, because they say fourth, like they put the quote in the very beginning. They say Fourth Age, but there's no reference in the show of what age it is.
No, there might be in the in like the what do they call it? Like the trivia that I think Sarah helped write. That was also for each episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah. I wonder I feel like that is something that will be raised on, in the show as it goes forward. I mean, is it important that it's the third age? Like that doesn't necessarily matter. But I think as the show progresses, they'll have more opportunities to get into the, the metaphysics and the cosmology of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that can throw off casual fans, early on.
I feel like that's kind of like an interesting thing, though. You're starting with a quote and you say the fourth age, and then you probably immediately I thought, oh, did they even mention what age it is in the TV show? Like, if people are watching this, they're probably going to be like, well, what age does the show take place in? If this is the fourth age, is this the fifth age? Is this the third age? So I don't know. It feels like something that they might have missed on. And I don't know. I don't know if Maureen says it in her intro or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it's something they could have thrown in there, even just with in Maureen's like monologue intro. They could have just said it was the third age, just to kind of put in perspective as to what's going on, like where we are in the story. Again, because then they go into the past, right? When they do the episode 8 cold open, I forget, what do they caption it like 3,000 years ago or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think they say like the end of the second age.
No, they definitely don't. I think they do say like something like about 3,000 years ago. So I don't know. Just something I thought that I noticed when I watched it that I thought they might have missed or could have put in there. But I do like how they talk about Lews Therin in this episode. They talk about the taint, or what they call it, the poison. It's really, I don't know. It's a little bit frustrating how much effort they made to avoid using the word taint.
I don't know. I feel, again, if you're looking to make this mass appeal, kind of a show, you've got to realize that like that's just opening yourself up to taunting the entire time.
Well, they could have used the word taint though in the origins, though, right? And
they'd say tainted on the show. They say it's tainted. They just don't call it the taint.
The taint.
Yeah.
No, and I think in the origins they don't ever say like the poison. They just say they poisoned the dark, the one power or something like that. They could have said they tainted it. I mean, that's not too. You're right. When they start saying the taint, that's when I think it's a little silly. Well, some people might think.
I feel the dark one's taint. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, when you start saying it like that, but I think in the dialogue that they used, it was monologue that they used in the short. I think they could have used taint. Anyway, yeah, they talked about that, and they talked about the madness. I liked how it was from like an Aes Sedai point of view, telling the story to, like she was telling it to like novices, I guess, almost like she was teaching a class. I really like that idea. Any thoughts on that?
No, I agree with you. I think one of the other things that I like about all of this is that it also echoes, how Rafe referenced how he wants to keep the cold opens for episodes because it reflects how like the prologues are in the later books and how you get to see characters you wouldn't normally see. You have to see different points of view or whatever. This is another example of that, and I like the way that that's structured.
Yeah, me too. Any last thoughts before we move on to the next one?
Nope.
All right, Tom, what was our second one?
The Fall of Manetheren.
Oh, see, that was the fifth one.
Well, I mean, and again, right, this would echo when you hear the Tale of Manetheren in episode 2.
Right.
Yep. So it's just a bit of an animated version of Moiraine's story in the show. There really wasn't any different information than what she told in the show. So I don't know if this one was necessarily as informative as the other ones, because the other ones covered. And I don't know, did they make this, you think, because they didn't think that Rafe was going to be able to keep that scene in the show?
Maybe, but I also think they made it because it's awesome. Like, I think this is one of my 2 favorites.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I noticed something in there. I kept rewinding and watching some things on some of them, like when it's talking about the armies of the Dark One, and it kind of pans down and you see like the Trollocs and their shields. Did you notice that like it looked like some of the shields had like red hands on them?
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, it did. I had to watch it a couple of times because I thought maybe it wasn't the Trolloc army. I was like, oh, is this like the original band of the Red Hand? And then I think no, I was like, it's Trollocs. And then I thought it looked like it might have been smeared blood, like the Trollocs just like smeared blood on their shields with their hands,
right? Or that could just be some guy trying to protect himself. And
well, there were a lot of shields. There was a bunch of shields with them. They were all like lined up. It wasn't like they were in battle, so it was like I guess remember that like the Trollocs have their different tribes or whatever, and they have different symbols. I don't remember if there was one that had anything to do with the Red Hands, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't recall.
How about you, Jen? Did you like this one? Was this one of your favorites too?
I did, yeah. I liked how you see Eldrine, that's her name, right?
Yes.
Like, kind of, killing herself or whatever with the power. And then the power going out across the battlefield. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I do like the I did really like in all of the animations the way they drew the people, like the artwork for the actual people. Yeah. I thought they were, I don't know, it was very like realistic, but also not realistic. It was weird because it was very realistic, but they didn't move like real people. Right? Like it wasn't like watching like a Pixar movie or something where the people moved very fluidly or whatever. It was like the actual people were almost like real looking people, almost like they did like the Lord of the Rings,
rotoscope, yeah,
where it was like people and animation together.
Yeah.
What's that?
The Lord of the Rings cartoon that they made.
Yeah,
a while ago.
Not the old. I'm thinking of like the Hobbit cartoon.
Not the Hobbit cartoon. Not the Hobbit cartoon. They made Ralph Bakshi did Lord of the Rings, and it's the first book and half of Two Towers, and it's like animation, but it's also like he had people actually acting, and then he drew over the screen.
Oh,
so it's like very, it did remind me a little bit of that.
Yeah, Hedsky's pointing out like the Beowulf movie.
Yeah,
it was kind of like the Beowulf movie. But like the actual, it was weird. Like the movement and stuff was not like that. It was almost like it almost felt like a stop motion kind of movement to it.
Yeah, like I was trying to say, like it looked like this was like a painting that you had animated, as opposed to like animation, right?
Yeah.
So it's like very, like it's trying to be very a realistic drawing of characters, and then just having them move rather than, I think, more what I would consider traditional animation. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to point out a comment. Go ahead.
I would say it's a very distinct look. And again, maybe there's other things that look just like this that I'm not aware of, but that's one thing that I liked about it, is that it didn't look like other things that I knew.
Yeah. Erin Marie was pointing out in Discord that it's like the frame rate was lower than normal animation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. That was, So that was the one thing when I was thinking, like I was mentioning before, like I kind of wish the whole show at some points was like that. But then I was like, but the actual like physical animation and movement wasn't, I don't know if I could watch full hour episodes like that. So, but I mean, maybe they would adjust that. Maybe it was deliberately done like that because they're only like three minutes. But yeah. Tom, what was the third one?
The Greatest Warder.
So this was the first one. Go ahead, Jen. You sound like you have something to say about this.
So what's episode? Because that one's episode 3.
It's Jaina Darkfriend episode.
Yeah, that's not a Warder episode. I think like number 4 would be. I don't know. I just feel like this is a good story, but did we need this?
Well, they do say blood and ashes in it, so that was really awesome. That was the first thing I noted.
Yeah.
They said blood and ashes.
I liked it. I just feel like it didn't need to be. I feel like they should have saved that for the episode where Matt fights Galan and Gowan, because that's when the story gets told in the book, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So thinking about this, episode 3 was Dana Dark Friend.
Lan is with Nynaeve trying to heal Moraine.
Yeah, that's right.
And the Tinkers.
And the Tinkers. So what would you have put instead of doing the Greatest Warder?
Well, you can't really give too much history on the Tinkers because that's like gonna come later.
You could have given some like just general story about the Tinkers, like how they wander around, maybe, and
maybe about like the current Tinkers.
You know what they could have done?
What?
They could have did the story that I guess Rayan is it or Illa who tells about the ideal they meet in the wastes. I
thought you were gonna say her wife, her daughter, but that's not in episode 3. Story of her daughter dying or whatever.
Oh no! I'm thinking of the Eye of the World story when they meet the Aiel. They talk about how the Aiel.
Oh yeah.
They ran into and she said,
but that's not in the show, is it?
No.
Oh, but it could have been. They could have put that in there though. They could have put it in there.
Or they could have done a similar thing that they did in episode 2 and shown Aradal's fall into Shadow Logoth.
There you go.
That would have been a cool thing to do.
I was thinking of Nynaeve healing somebody with herbs. That's kind of boring, though. The Aradal thing is better.
Yeah.
How about
even something about like what a wisdom is in the Two Rivers? Like I think this was. I agree, Jen. This was I think the one I was least enthusiastic about.
Yeah, it seemed out of place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the idea, Tom, of the Fall of Aradhal, though. Mordath, and you could have put that in there. That would have been pretty cool.
Maybe it'll be part of the next run of episodes.
Was that Lan in this one though? Was Lan the guy that he was telling the story to?
No, I don't think it matters. I don't.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be him or
telling. Like Lan's trainer telling him.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was him at first, but I couldn't really tell.
I couldn't. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Okay.
But yeah, we get was it Jerem? How do you pronounce it?
Jerem. Yeah, that's how I pronounce it. I don't know if that's right, but that's how I pronounce it.
Yeah. So it's about Jerem, and he, it's basically like I guess the trainer talking to one of the warders in training, telling him the story about Jerem, and his 10,000 victories, but he lost to a farmer with a staff. The one cool line I liked out of it was, besides blood and ashes, was he says, "Respect the wielder, not the weapon."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was cool, but I thought it was. I like the line, but I thought it didn't match with the story in the books, right? Was it?
No, I think it does.
It just means just because somebody's fighting with a quarterstaff doesn't mean that they're not going to be good, right? Like,
yeah, I guess so. I guess I took it the wrong way then.
Well, that's mighty big of you to admit, Joe.
Respect the farmer, not the quarterstaff.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. Like, don't dismiss the person you're fighting just because you think their weapon is not impressive.
See, I always thought in the books that the point they were trying to make is like a quarterstaff is a pretty powerful weapon. Not that it was it's the person who wielded it. It was just that, swords aren't necessarily the best weapon.
I just thought it meant like, don't be so cocky and thinking like anybody can take anything and beat you if they're like good enough at it, I guess.
Yeah. Don't underestimate.
To put it in again, to think about it another way, even though he wouldn't necessarily use a quarterstaff, Tam is a farmer, right? Mm. Like that guy might not have always been a farmer. He just was a farmer then, right? So it's like, it's to me, it was more like, don't think just because you are good means nobody else is good.
Oh, new theory. The farmer who beat Jerem was Tam.
A time traveling Tam.
How old is the story though? I don't remember if they ever say, do they?
I got the impression that it was like
more than 20-something years ago, or
yes, that it was like hundreds of years ago.
Okay,
it's like
if he's the greatest
fable.
warder ever, it was probably like the trolley.
He would have been alive still. Yeah, he probably still would have been alive too, right?
Yeah.
If he got beat by Tam,
right? As a farmer,
yes,
which is like only in the past like 15.
But
years.
we don't know. We don't. He said he lost to a man with the farmer. He didn't say if he survived. Maybe Jerem got killed by the farmer.
And that man was me. Takes the mask off.
The
Scooby-Doo. Let's see who you really are.
Awesome.
Any final thoughts on the greatest warder before we move on?
This is the greatest warder. Sorry. That was the greatest show, but it wasn't a very good rendition.
Oh.
Anyway, moving on.
All right. The next episode, Joe, is Sidar Stone.
Oh yes, the title for this one bothered me. Did I miss the stone anywhere?
Yeah,
in this episode?
I
What is
didn't
the
get it
stone?
either.
There comes a time, Joe, and I don't know. No,
Where was the stone in this episode? I
don't they give the whole thing like the strongest stone can be worn down by wind and water or whatever? Don't they give that saying in here?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
I thought it was in there. I don't know. To kind of prove that even though Sidar's strong and in like less traditionally physical powers, that it can still do what it needs to do.
I feel like a lot of these are like running together in my head. Like
this is another one with where it's an Aes Sedai teaching a class, like teaching the novices about the one power. Yeah, I don't remember them even saying the word stone in it, to be honest with you. So that's why I was kind of thrown off. So she talks about how the Age of Legends and the Age of Legends and men and women working together. She also talks about the true source and the difference between the men and women accessing it, which I thought was really cool and interesting. I wish they would have put that in the actual show.
Mm-hmm.
This is canon, right? All of the stuff that happens in here, this is not.
I know it's canon, but
right. I just to be clear, I feel like even though right now these are not necessary to watch, like they're basically allowing themselves the opportunity to pull from here as reference for later seasons.
Mm-hmm. She also talks a little bit more about the taint, and then they go into like the lesson of like how to embrace Sidar, which I thought was
really
cool.
Right, okay.
That through the book, like opening it, like picturing the
bud.
flower, and the bud, which I thought was really cool. Also, just like I wanted to point out, like this, and I don't know if this is really going to have an effect on anything or this was done purposely, but right, this is being told from the point of view of an Aes Sedai. So, do we take everything that this person is saying to be, 100% accurate, or is this like the Aes Sedai's beliefs as opposed to fact?
Well, I would say with this show specifically, it's the latter, right? I think that this show goes to great lengths to say the Aes Sedai do not know as much as they pretend to know.
Mm-hmm. So where's the stone, Jen?
I don't know, but I have another question. Is there ever an indication in the book that originally when the men channeled Sidene before the taint, that it was like the same as women, or were they always like men were aggressive or is that just like a product of the taint and how like they have to fight the taint?
Yeah,
she was nodding.
Yes,
that was not a yes or no question. It's I think
it's a lot.
Yeah,
they were always aggressive.
It's always like that. It's a yin yang
That's
two
the dichotomy
opposing.
of the true source of the
Right.
one power.
So then it's good that it wasn't the opposite, because and it had to release, like, if the men were like allowing themselves to be guided by the taint, it might have gone worse. I feel like because they're so aggressive and they have to like take control of Saidin, it helps them, because if they were doing it the women's way, it might not work out so well.
So I think what you're referring to is if in the story Robert Jordan had to write about Rand embracing the taint, we might have had some problems.
I guess, yeah. Why, the men, they don't call it embracing when the men do it?
No, they seize. Remember, they seize. They seize Saidin.
Raging torrent.
Women embrace Saidin.
But it's only a raging torrent because of the taint, though, right?
No, it's always a raging torrent.
Always a raging torrent? Why?
Always a raging torrent.
Because that's the male half of the power. It's different from the women's side of the power. The true source is the Saidar and Saidin. While they are both the one power, they're very different, and the way you handle them and use them is very different.
Right, and the contrasting energies of the two different halves of the one power is what turns the wheel of time. Those things pushing against each other. So.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, obviously, Robert Jordan was commenting on the differences between men and women.
Yes. Right.
So
yeah. And I think he's also drawing from Eastern philosophies, right? And that whole, the concept of yin and yang, that concept of the two, equal but opposing forces that kind of push against each other, and that, whatever, literally to the point that throughout the series, if you ever see a yin yang symbol, it looks like the flame of Tarvalon and the dragon's fang, except that each side has a dot of the other inside of it, and that doesn't happen until the fourth age, right?
What?
And so, okay, the ancient symbol of the Aes Sedai, right, is the yin yang without the two dots. It's a pure white half and a pure black half. Then at the end of the series, full spoilers, folks, right? The symbol of the Aes Sedai that's in the sky and the clouds, like when Rand's fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It appears, and then like the flame of Tarvalon side has like a black dot in it, and the dragon's fang side has a white dot in it. So it looks like the yin yang symbol.
That.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I don't remember that at all.
Show balance.
Well, I will look out for that. I am in the Gathering Storm in my reread, so I will have to look out for that when we get to A Memory of Light, because I do not remember that at all. And Dana Lou is in chat going, what? She doesn't remember it, but I know Dana Lou.
Dana, go check. You, I don't have the book near me, but I'm like, I don't know.
I know you haven't read the book, the last book, very often either, or that many times either. So, I've only read the A Memory of Light twice, and the last time I read, when did the Memory of Light come out? 2012, 13?
I don't know.
2012, I think, somewhere in that area. I've only read it twice, and it was both around. It was when it came out, and maybe like a year after it came out. So I haven't read it in a long time, and I've only read it twice.
It's like after. It's after the battle, right? That is what I'm talking about. So, yeah. All right. You want to move on to the 5th episode, Joe?
The 5th episode.
The White
Wait,
Tower.
let me try to get. Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. You guess now.
I'll guess the last one. The White Tower. So we get the origin story of the White Tower, hence Wheel of Time Origins. So what do they talk about? They talk about the different levels of training, like the novice, how you go to novice to accepted to Aes Sedai. They talk about the 3 O's. Ooh, and they give this great explanation of the Ajas, and they show the pictures of the different Ajas, and like they talk about what each one of them represents, which I really like. I like this one a lot. I'm not sure which, I don't know which one was my favorite, but I did like this one a lot. This was definitely probably in my top 2 or 3. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, one thing that they mentioned, Tom, and this is something you had brought up in many episodes, specifically about the Reds. And they mentioned how the Reds kind of police the wrong and dangerous use of the one power, which is something that you had speculated a while back that, something that the Reds are going to be doing, or could be doing in the show to kind of expand on what they do in the books, but then also give them something to do. Like this is like a fourth age job of the Reds, possibly, is like they just kind of, they're like the internal affairs kind of investigating misuse of the one power kind of thing. So I just noted that in there. I thought that was pretty cool. Because I don't think we got that in the actual show proper, right?
No, I think that came from maybe some of the audition scripts and the way that they had written, like the way that they had some scenes with the audition scripts with Leandrin and Nynaeve. I think that's where I drew that from.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it makes a lot of sense, and it allows you, I think, to have an easier time having Red Sisters to sympathize with, since so many of the Red Sisters you meet early on are just awful, even if they're not out and out bad. So that when you're like, these are people who it's their job to make sure like that nobody is misusing that. And that includes, having to do the dirty work of gently male channelers.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I noted it in the from watching it, and thought it was interesting just because you had pointed it out a few times on the podcast. So
nailed it.
Jen, you're a self-proclaimed self-proclaimed Red Aja. Do you like this little expansion of what the Red Aja does?
Yeah, because they can't just, I mean, they're basically preventing another breaking of the world. But I like the fact that they're not just like men haters and going after men, and they're going after anybody, men, women, anyone who's doing something that they shouldn't. They really are police officers, except just for that one, just for doing things wrong with the one power. So I
feel like they should have been the ones. Excuse me. They should be the ones focusing on hunting the Black Aja.
Except that too many of them are the Black Aja. That's why it doesn't work, unfortunately.
But I'll say this though, right? That gives even more credence to like, and I don't even know if they're going to have this plot in the show or not. I think they probably won't. The whole Black Aja hunter plot. But that would give more credence to them completely misunderstanding Elida if they're like, oh shit, this is what this is what they do. Like, and she's like giving us the super secret mission. You know what I mean? Because Elida doesn't want them to hunt Black Aja. Like, that's not what she's asking.
The spies, right?
Right. And they're like, spies. They like don't get it. I think or she wants to
No. Swan or Elida?
No,
Elida.
But no, they are hunting for rebel spies, and they accidentally find a Black Aja.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
They are. They're hunting for a tower, Saladar Aes Sedai in the tower, and then they accidentally find a Black Aja, and then they start hunting Black Aja after that.
Okay, I misunderstood. I misremembered. I apologize.
Yeah. Because they're all like super surprised when they start questioning her, and then they find out that like she doesn't have. I think is it Taline? I think maybe I can't remember who the Aes Sedai is that they first find. Yeah. So I was like that. That was always one of my favorite. I would say favorite parts, but it's one of the parts that I really enjoy in the books when they're doing the hunting for the Saladar Aes Sedai in the tower, and then they accidentally stumble across a Black Aja. And then they're like, okay, well, now we're going to hunt some Black Aja because this is way more important than hunting Rebel Aes Sedai in the tower. Rebel spies. Okay, we're getting pushback. We're in the chat. They're saying they misunderstood.
Yeah. I'm really sure like they think they're hunting the Black Aja from the get-go. But Elida is telling them to hunt out the spies. But she's not. She's trying to be like coy about it, right? And Chad, help me out here.
I totally read that a different way because they're really surprised when they find a Black Aja. They're like, "Oh my god!"
Well, I don't know if they allowed themselves to believe it was true.
All right. All right. We want leave some comments on the episode, people, when you're listening to this, and give us your thoughts. Maybe we'll post something on Twitter. But I recently listened to this, and I'm pretty sure they were hunting rebels, and they accidentally found a Black Aja.
What book is this in?
This is in Cross.
Okay.
At the Daggers?
I thought so. I sorry. It's been a while.
At the Daggers or Winter's Heart, somewhere in that area. This is who is it? Is it
Cian?
Cian?
Cian, yeah.
One of the S's. Oh, God,
it's that one, but I don't remember. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, one of the S's. They're also trying to figure out the weird and the fun part is both sides, the rebels and the Tower Aes Sedai, they're trying to figure out that there's some sort of oddness about the way the new sitters were chosen.
Right. There's something weird with the sitters, and they can't figure it out until they put both pieces together.
And then they realize that they purposely they picked the sitters with the intention of when the tower comes back together that they would have
jettison the weak ones,
yeah, or something like that. But all right, yeah, interesting. I totally took that another way because I'm pretty sure they're extremely surprised when they find a Black Aja, and they're like, "Oh shit, we weren't looking for this, and look what we found." And then they kind of reorient their mission.
Yeah, I always took it like more
because
like
they know Elida knows that. Who is it?
Elida knows, but she's not clear with them, and I think that like they get a completely wrong idea about what she's asking them to do. Like, she doesn't go out and just say, "Find these people." She's like coy and like, this, that, and then she walks out with a really wrong idea.
Erin's right. I'm sorry. You guys are all right. Erin pointed it out. They accidentally catch a Saladar spy. They're not which they weren't expecting to find. They think what's her name's right because she's the one Saladar spy. She like travels north and then comes from the north or something like that. So they're asking her about like her return to the tower, and they think they catch her in a lie, and then they find out that she's actually from Saladar. She's a Saladar spy, and that's what they're surprised about. So I'm sorry, I'm totally wrong. I feel like I should feel like I made everybody dumber for listening to the last 5 minutes podcast.
No, this was good.
You're right. You're right. They're looking for a Black Aja, and they find a Saladar spy, and that's what it was. It wasn't the other way.
And it's I think what Elida is asking them to do is find evidence that Alviarin is like should get deposed or something to that effect. Like she's trying to get out of Alviarin's thumb. And they take it as like, I think that's what it is. Like they take it in the wrong direction, but it's been a while.
No, you're right. I totally had it backwards, and you're right. They find the rebel. I can't remember her name, but you're right because they're questioning her about like where she came from, and that she like purposely like teleported to the north. Like not teleported. She traveled up north of the White Tower of Tarvalon so she could travel south. So when they did question her, she could tell them that she came from whatever town in the north, so she wouldn't be lying. And then they make her swear. They make her swear right at the oaths again or something like that.
Right.
Okay. All right. Glad we sorted that out. And everyone who's listening to the podcast is probably yelling at me for the last 5 minutes like, "You're wrong, Joe. You're fucking wrong."
I'm glad because I hope I'm not wrong about that the yin yang thing. And people might have been yelling at me about that. Dana was, at least, but not yelling.
Well, we all have to be wrong about something.
That's all. Jen, it's your turn.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh wait. So anyway, just a couple of more things about this. Right. This is my favorite one, just because they give a lot of information in here. I talked about what they already gave. They also talk about like the hall, the purpose of the hall, the sitters, the Amerlin. Mm-hmm. One thing I wanted to ask, the person who's telling the story, it seems like they're the Amerlin, right? Like the way it's told.
Yeah, like a younger Amerlin, because then it looks like the towers has like scaffolding around it.
Yeah,
like
they're still building it.
So yeah, so that was my thought. Is this the first Amerlin telling the story, you think?
I don't know about the first, but it's an early Amerlin. Yeah.
And I almost
Because I don't-
want to. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't remember from our extensive history episodes which came first. Right? Like the White Tower took a long time to build. I don't know if there were Amerlins before then or not. Right? 'Cause it took a while for the Ajahs to form into the 7 that we know and all the rest of that.
Yeah, so we've got. Oh, damn it! I was pulling up my old notes about this. So this was back in episode 46. We talked about the formation of the White Tower.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. The first Amerlin seat was said to be Elisane Tishar. So this could be telling the story. They don't say who it is, but I got the impression when I was listening to the, her tell the story, and then towards the end that she might have been the first Amerlin telling the story about the creation of the tower.
Let's say she is. Let's lock it up.
Canon. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about on this one before we move on to the final?
Nope.
An Ogier longing.
No, Jay, good, Joe.
I guessed it right, huh?
You got it, man.
Job.
I got it. I only had 100% chance to guess it right. By the way, what are your thoughts? First thing I want to ask, the animated version of the Ogier, right? A little different than Loyal. What did you think about that?
I didn't really like it. I'll be honest. I think he looked more like just like a person with like weird ears. His face was pretty much normal.
Let me read my notes here. Quote, love the animated version of the Ogier. End quote.
I don't know. I didn't like it. I thought he looked too human.
I liked that they kind of looked humanish because the way they're described in the books, they describe them as humanoid, and then they just kind of Jordan kind of talks about the differences, right? He talks about the tufted ears, he talks about the broad noses, and that's
the eyes as big as teacups.
The eyes, the long eyebrows that you could braid.
Ooh, you know what this is like? This is like the opposite of what they did to Gollum in the TV show, right? Because I think in the books Gollum is described with like beady eyes, but they gave him Peter Jackson gave him these big giant eyes.
Yeah,
and I think
Peter Jackson just made him look like the Gollum cartoon.
Did the Gollum cartoon have big beady eyes? He had big eyes, but they were always kind of like closed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very heavy lidded.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
like a frog almost, but a frog not with his eyes wide open. Anyway, I feel like this is almost the opposite then, like because he gave them, they're described as big eyes in the books, but the animated version had small eyes. You're right, Jen. Yeah. That's the one thing I would change. But I like the way they look, the hair, the ears. I like the build of them and the kind of like the facial features. But yeah, good catch on that one. So we learn a little bit about what happened to them during the breaking, and then they talk about the steading, which I thought was really good. I like the history lesson style of this episode. Highlight of this one: a little wooden ship just coming out of a tree when they're singing.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
That's not how I pictured tree singing at all.
No, I said the same thing. I was like, what? That's okay. What the heck? That was weird.
What do you think about that, Tom? The ship coming out of the tree?
I thought it was odd too. But I was like, okay, you're giving them a little bit more magical power than they really. I thought like tree singing just made trees like extra big and strong.
Yeah, just creating toys.
Yeah, not creating toys.
They were able to create stuff from tree singing, but I didn't think it was like I sing to a tree and all of a sudden like a little toy wooden ship it gives birth to a toy ship.
Yeah, I mean, right, there's furniture and stuff that's like made of tree sung wood, but I always assumed that was like I'm going to sing to this tree to make it extra sturdy, so that when I craft out of it, like it's a better material. Not like I'm gonna sing this tree into a chair and then cut it off. But maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I always kind of thought of it as like, as they were doing their carpentry, they would sing to the wood to kind of like enhance the strength and the, you know, the beauty of the wood, and, you know, almost like, you know, it, like putting the finishing touches on it and whatnot. I never pictured like they would just sing to a tree and like a fucking, you know, computer desk would come out of it.
That would be cool though. So while that is really was really odd, I would say this episode was my wife's favorite one. Michelle liked this the most because she felt like the show gave you very little context as to what Ogre were, or what their deal was, or anything about them. And Loyal's so engaging on the show, right? It is so great playing the part that she wanted to know a lot more about them. And so like she really appreciated this like giving them like giving a snapshot of like, hey, this is what they're like, but every once in a while you get one who is completely opposite that and wants to go out and see the world and wants adventure. You know
what I want now? Now I want Nick Offerman to play an Ogre on the show.
Oh man, yes.
I want him to be like a carpenter Ogre and just singing to the wood.
Is there any? Do you meet another elder besides Elder Hammond?
Is there another elder in the Great Hunt, or is that elder?
Yeah, there is, right? Yeah, it's not the same guy, right? It's a different one.
Yeah, when they go to Steading Shanghai,
yeah.
Or Shanghai, right?
Yeah, Shanghai.
Is it? I thought it was Shanghai.
No, Shanghai's.
I know.
Shanghai.
Sure
I don't think it's Shanghai. I don't think they. Like it's not Indiana Jones' The Temple of Doom. I think
let's see.
Or like a Chris Tucker movie with
Shanghai Noon.
Shanghai Noon.
So
anyway, I did like this one. You know why I like this one? Because it made me want to be an Ogre because it looks so cool. They just kind of hang out. They're chilling in the forest in the steading, lying down, enjoying life, and just kind of relaxing. Yeah, I want to be an Ogre, or at least just hang out in the steading for the rest of my life. Sounds pretty cool and peaceful. And I want to hear
shitting Sofu in the Great Hunt, by the way.
Oh, Sofu, okay. Yeah.
Did you guys nothing? Well, have to do with something. Did you guys watch Doug, the cartoon?
I know which cartoon you're talking about, but I didn't watch the show.
There was a band that he liked. I forget the name. Oh, the Beats, I think it was called, and they sang a song called "Killer Tofu." So, but it went every time I read "Steading Sofu," I sing. It's like oh, Steading Sofu. Sorry, nobody's getting it because nobody knows the song "Killer Tofu," but that's how it went.
Really
that's what I always
into the bag
think of when I see Steading Sofu. Anyway, maybe one person will know that song when they listen to our podcast.
Any Doug fans out there?
Thank you.
Oh, there we go.
Skeeterish. Thank you very much.
Skeet knows exactly what you're talking
That's one. I got one.
I did enjoy this one a lot too. Like I said, just because of the what they were talking about. It was very enjoyable. It kind of felt very Tolkien-ish, just to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
This one. So just the way it was narrated, it kind of felt that way. I don't know which one of these was my favorite though. I liked, the Greatest Warder, I could say was probably my least favorite. The Sidene Sidara Stone one, I just want to throw that one out there because there was no stone in it that I remember of. The Manetheren one was repetitive of the show. So I think the White Tower, the Breaking, and maybe the Steel Gear one were probably my three favorites.
The Manetheren was repetitive, but I felt like it was also the coolest of them. I don't know.
It was a cool story. But what do you think was better? You like that better than Maureen telling the story in the show? Which one did you like better?
I think the Origins.
Oh wow!
I'd have to go back and watch Moraine's retelling of it. I wouldn't choose to cut Moraine's retelling for something else.
I'm not asking that, Tom.
But
Don't be
yeah, I think it's cooler to like. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool that they showed something that, because you're not going to see battling like that in the show for like, I don't know, a while. Like we're like massive armies.
You just saw armies standing around and then like a light come and they disappeared. So, Jen, which one was your favorite?
I think the White Tower one.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that one. I like to give a lot of information.
Yeah, I like that they went through all the Ajas and with the paintings. That was cool.
Yeah, definitely like that one. I do like the animation. I'm looking forward to seeing the next two, Lan and Malkir. And then
I have a question for you, because I'm just not. When I saw the initial coverage of the San Diego Comic-Con panel, I thought it was announced that this was season 2 of Origins, not that there were only 2 episodes filling out season 1.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I don't know where you got that. There was only 2 episodes.
I'm pretty sure when they said it. I don't know.
I thought it was season 2 also.
Yeah, I think it's season 2. I think there's going to be a few episodes. I thought, but they didn't say. They didn't give an episode count, and they only showed scenes from 1 episode. So I don't know.
I thought what's her face, Jen, who was live tweeting from it, said something when she jumped on the Dusty Wheel after the panel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it came up in there.
Okay, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just didn't see that. That's why I wasn't sure. I feel like I'm not as fully prepped as I normally am, which is not that prepped, but whatever. I was going to ask, because I thought it was going to be a full complement, like another 6 episodes.
No, it seems I'm looking at some of the art, like I'm looking at the Collider article, and it seems like it's only just 2 more episodes. Like they're finishing out this first season, because the last 2 episodes of the show didn't have complementary origins to it.
Okay.
So these last 2 origins for season 1. I'm just going to quote Collider here. During season 1, the animated shorts arrived alongside new episodes of the main series. However, it looks like the return to Origins will not be tied to season 2, but stand on its own to give fans something new to look forward to. The footage reveals that at least one short will focus on Lan Mandragoran's story, including scenes of younger Lan with his parents set before his time as Moraine's warder. This surprise reveal explains why Daniel Henley was part of the panel. Yeah, that doesn't say anything else. This article. I don't know. People who I got the impression from the watching the Dusty Wheel, that live stream and hearing what people were saying, that it's just the last. I
feel like they announced it as like at San Diego Comic-Con. It's like season 2 of this, not like that we're doing another season of Origins. Not that it was going to be just. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's a season that's 2 episodes. Things are weird, but
it doesn't say. You're right. There's no specific.
Let's say it's only if there's only 1 more episode, we'll just give it that. Who knows? What would you think it should be about? And you can't use any of the ones I've already said.
Well, I think I said this in the beginning. I think maybe either Ishamael, something about Ishamael's background, or maybe the boar. Lanfear and the boar, although I think that would be too. I think that'd be too early, maybe, to introduce that. So I think maybe something with Ishamael.
Okay.
What about something like from Shinar, like the history of how they protect the lands from the blight?
Or they could tell a story about the Horn of Valir, maybe.
Maybe
how the horn got
cool.
how it got buried underneath the road.
I forget. I was watching something recently about that, about how ridiculous that whole scene is. It might have been Daniel Green, maybe. I don't remember though, but it was like just going through the scene about You know what to do. Yeah, you know what to do.
I feel like I saw that too, but I don't know what it
pick
was.
it up and then you run away, and then like there's a sound, and they all run away and leave the horn by itself, and then it's how like ridiculous the scene is. Like it doesn't make any sense. I can't remember who it was that would put something out like that, but it was funny. Yeah, how about a horn scene? A horn origins.
Okay, I'm cool with that. What else could there be?
What's in the? We got the blight. Maybe something about the blight.
Maybe something with the blight.
Yeah.
Or something about the Eye of the World. Although they couldn't put anything, because it seems like all of the origins are actual literal canon from the books. So they probably couldn't put something about the Eye of the World, because nothing about the show Eye of the World is canon. So
maybe now something about the Tuatha, just about like what their normal lives are like. I don't know.
It seems like it's unrelated to the episode, though, right?
Yeah.
It could be the seals, the seals on the Dark One's prison. So we got seals.
Maybe Bloodstone. Maybe like
the Eye of
Bloodstone.
War.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could get the Eye of War. What else is in that episode? Linking. How linking in the show doesn't make sense.
Yes, how linking in the show doesn't make any sense, but they should make an Origins episode on.
I don't know, but we're going to be getting it soon, so that's good news, and then we'll get to talk about it. It'd be great if it was more than 2 episodes. I don't know why. Maybe Matt Hatch just was under the impression that it was 2 more episodes, and that kind of took that on. But I feel like from watching the Dusty Wheel, there was a lot of inference that it was. They only did 6 origin episodes. They didn't get the last 2 out, and these are going to be the last 2 of them.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
I don't know. Hopefully we get more.
Right.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for this one. So,
yeah, we'll find out sometime in the next few weeks.
Oh, we got Jen is listening to us. So Jen, who was there at the live at San Diego Comic-Con, the one live tweeting, says that this was her.
Oh my gosh.
She's the one who said that it was 2.
Oh, okay.
That it came from the San Diego Comic-Con mod, but she may have misspoke. Well, isn't this awesome, people? We have Jen here with us in chat. It does make sense, though, Jen, that it would be the last 2 episodes to match the last 2 episodes of the show, since they never did those. So, and it wouldn't make sense. Would they release season 2 origins before the episode? Like you said, everything complemented in an episode.
Yeah.
What would they release?
Yeah. Although Rafe did make mention months and months ago that we would be getting content in between the 2 seasons. So they may have always.
But I think this was.
Yeah. And is this? I'm saying, like, maybe they're just saying, hey, we'll give them that early. It's ready.
Maybe we'll get one more, like an extra one, like a kind of like in between season 1, season 2, kind of primer origin. Maybe a Shaunchen. Yeah. Shaunchen. That'd be cool if we got
just Hawkwing sending them out, right? Sending his son out.
Or just a general Hawkwing one. Yeah, like a little Hawkwing history.
All right. There we go. I'm putting it out there.
Hawkwing history. All right. Any final thoughts on the origins before we wrap it up?
No.
Anything you would share with the Amazon crew and the makers of the show to either improve or change on the origins? Any advice you would like to give them? We know they all listen to this podcast.
Well, I hear from the 2 of you that the interface to access these, if you're not using like an Amazon like
Fire Stick
device,
or
Stick or anything like that.
Web browser.
It's very difficult. So please help make it easier to watch this content.
Up your interface game. Yeah, I heard.
I think it would have been nice to watch it correctly. I probably could have actually, no, in the beginning they weren't available on TV at all with Roku.
No, we couldn't find them at all on Roku.
It would have been nice to be able to watch them, coinciding with the episode they were supposed to go with.
Yeah. So I know some people said that like the other devices, they're better, like they're in a separate spot and you could find them easier than they could before. But I will still say you can now see them on a Roku, but they're literally, like Jen said, if you're watching it on the Prime app on the Roku, you just go to the episodes and there's literally like, 25 episodes and there's like 15 episode zeros. And it's all like behind the scenes, how like they did a behind the scenes for each episode. And then there's origins mixed in there and none of them are in order. So like there's a behind the episode, like episode 4, then there'll be like an origins for episode 3. And then there'll be like a behind the episode 1. It's not in order at all. Get your shit together, Amazon. Talk to Roku. I don't know who actually creates the apps. But get your shit together, man. Get it together.
Look, they're only a massive technology company. They have a lot on their plate right now.
They're busy.
I will say, in general, I hope it's not only 2 episodes because I want more episodes of everything. Right? I want more episodes of the show. I want more episodes of Origin. The more content that you give me, Amazon, the happier I will be. And that's not only because we do a show about your show, but like, so I'm excited that we're going to get more of this. I hope that this is not, instead of getting it with the next season, I hope we get it now and then we get it the next season. We get, or they start making this like, ping pong, like, hey, we're going to do a season every year or so. And in between, we're going to give you a season of the Origin show. Like, I don't mind that.
Like 25 minutes worth of actual content.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like, I don't like. My point is, give me more content, please.
Yeah,
more episodes of everything will be fine by me. And like, it doesn't like. Here's I guess why I think I might be excited if they were to do something where it would be like a seesaw. Right. So every 6 months or 9 months or however long it would be, you get more episodes of one of these things. Because if they gave us tease like little 3-minute things for our upcoming season, that gives us more stuff to theorize about what the next season's going to have. Right. Why did they tease this? Are they going to bring this storyline in early or whatever the case may be? Cool stuff.
Yeah. I was just thinking that maybe Amazon purposely has a shitty interface apps with like the Roku and stuff like that because they're trying to get everyone to buy like Fire Sticks and stuff like that.
That's not how it works.
No,
I would not be surprised at all if they're like, why do we want to like? If you want it to be easy, get our stuff.
But to be honest, the Roku is the number one like streaming device though. Like in the world, I believe it's like the most popular. So they should get their shit together. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you.
Get it together, man. Tom, why are you against this?
I got a Fire Stick. I got mine.
Suck. All right. Let's wrap it up here. Jen, do we have any new patrons to thank?
We do. We have a new patron who's been very vocal in our chat tonight. Thank you. Joining the Illuminators Guild, we have Erin Marie.
Erin.
Oh, thank you so much for joining our Patreon, for joining us tonight in chat. And everybody else, too, who is a current patron or a past patron, we appreciate you. And future patrons, we also appreciate you, too. So come join us, and you can listen to live recordings and get some other fun stuff. We love you. We couldn't do it without you.
Thank you all. We appreciate you. We love you. We hear you. We see you. Well, we don't see you, but we'd love to see you. We see some of you.
Yes.
We see some of them, though. We want to see all of you, though, I think. Send us pictures. That was too weird.
What?
Forget
that. Too far. Yeah, it made it weird. Did you want to, not to write it down enough, but we talked about this a little before. Do you want to mention Brian and
yes. Do you want to do it, Tom?
I'm not prepared to, but I will if you give me a second.
Right? Am I prepared? So
no, I don't have the information up. Is all I'm saying.
Oh no, we'll
put it in the show notes.
We'll put the link in the show notes.
Okay,
that's all you have to say, Tom. Don't worry, we'll put the link in the show notes.
All right.
Oh.
So, a friend of ours, a member of the community, we're Kappa Psi, Brian. he had an accident and he's not doing too well, right? And the medical bills are pretty high, and his friends at Tarvalon After Dark they've helped set up a GoFundMe to kind of help pay for his medical bills. He is, as last we heard, like doing better, but he's still not anywhere close to out of the woods, and the medical bills for something like this are going to be really, really high. So if you have seen any of Rakappa's work, we've talked about it a lot on the show because we love it. If you were at WatCon and you saw the work that Brian did to make all the general programming sing, if you see these great parody videos, you'll know how great a person he is and how great of a talent he is. And hopefully, if you have the means, you can look at the information that we're going to put in the show notes and help out, because he needs it.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. Yeah. It's just crazy, bizarre scenario. Oh, Skeeter. Thanks, Skeeter, for posting it in Discord. Brian's awesome. I got to talk with him at WatCon. I actually made it a point. So this is how awesome Brian is. First of all, if you've seen any Rakappa stuff, you know that. But like, if you never met him in person, I think it was Saturday night. It was like 4:00 in the morning, and I said, I'm finally going to go to bed. I went up to bed, and then I said, you know what? I need to go talk to Brian to tell him how awesome it is. I literally went to my room, went back downstairs to find him, to talk to him and thank him for how awesome the main programming was and everything that he did for it, and all the work he put into it. Because that was like one of the highlights of all of WatCon was, and I know he did a lot of work and pretty much wrote a lot of the stuff that went on during the main programming. Obviously Matt Hutch contributed a great amount too, just like, pumping up the crowd and getting the conversation going and being really interactive. But all the like little skits and stuff was really Brian, and the tokens and everything like that. And he's a really great guy. So, if you can, obviously not everybody can, but whatever amount you could donate to help him out, I think that would be great. And, we're all sending yellow Aja flows and weaves your way, Brian. Yes. So hopefully we'll get to see you soon. So, all right. Now I feel like an idiot saying all this other stuff after this. We should have said at the very end. But follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Join us over in Discord to continue the conversation there. Rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts, and check out our merchandise and Patreon to support us that way. Links to all the aforementioned information is included in the show notes to this episode. I will also include the links to the GoFundMe for Brian. Anything else did I miss? We are off next week, everybody. I'm going to be out of the country. If any exciting news breaks, I don't know, Tom and Jen will bring it to you somehow.
Yeah.
Sure.
It'll be great.
It'll be great. I'll if anything, I'll keep an eye on it, and if anything happens, maybe I'll bring my laptop with me and I'll find somewhere I can get internet access.
Your family will love that.
Yeah. Whatever. It can wait till the next week.
Yeah, it can keep.
It'll
keep.
Besides, well, maybe they'll release the Origins while I'm away. So
okay,
that'll be fun. That'll be a whole. If it's 2 episodes, that'll be a whole 6 minutes of some stuff to talk about. Which, as you know, 6 minutes of content we can talk about for probably about 4 or 5 hours. So anyway,
sure.
So we're off next week. We'll see you the following week. We're going to have some guests with us, joining us. I won't announce that quite yet, although they are confirmed. I want to keep you all in suspense. But we're going to have somebody from another podcast joining us to talk about the Wheel of Time. It's going to be awesome. They're really cool people. So check us out when we come back. And thanks everyone for listening. And you'll hear us next time.